everybody, it's Lisa from the Silver Farmhouse coming to you with a recorded video on how you can make, guys, an amazing, do you see my pan? It's even rusted. Blueberry pie. You can make a faux blueberry pie, guys, and we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you how you can make, sorry, glue strings, how you can make a really cute faux blueberry pie. Two different ways you can make these. Made my first one the original way, and I'm going to show you a spin that you can do on another version. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some sort of small cake pan. This is a pan I got from the Dollar Tree, but you will need some sort of small cake pan. I'm using a cake pan, not a pie pan. Pie pans are more expensive. This was from the Dollar Tree for $1. I believe it's a 9-inch pan. Let me double check that for you. It's almost a 9-inch cake pan. So this is like a 9-inch cake pan. Then what you're going to want to do is, if you want to, you don't have to. I rusted my pan up. So do you see my pan? Well, that's just cinnamon on the bottom. But I rusted my pan up with some glue strings. A little bit of glue. But I rusted my pan up. I'm going to show you. I am the glue string queen, guys. Glue string queen. How you could rust this up. So first, what you need to do is you need to get some kind of rusty spray paint. Any kind of color rusty spray paint you guys want to get. I found Flat Red Primer by Rust-Oleum 2 times. It's just called Flat Red Primer. And I spray painted my pan. So this is just covered right now with the Flat Red Primer spray paint. After your spray paint is dry, you're going to want to take some spray adhesive. I did not bring a spray adhesive up here with me. But you're going to need a spray adhesive. Any kind of spray adhesive will work. Scotch brand, 3M brand, doesn't matter what brand. Spray your pan with the spray adhesive. Do one side at a time. Sprinkle your cinnamon in there. Bang off most of the cinnamon. And then use some kind of clear coat, a shellac, anything that's a sealer. That would be a sealer. This is the one I used on this pan right here. You can see my pan. It's all rusted up. This is what it comes out like after you rust it up. And there will be a blog on this. You can go to thesilverfarmhouse.com and actually see how I rusted my pan up, because I will have it on there. But I'm in the house, so I didn't want to do it in the house. So spray it with your spray paint. Let your spray paint dry. Spray it with an adhesive. Sprinkle cinnamon on it, all over it. Kind of like you're coating a cake pan with flour when you put the butter on. Get all your loose cinnamon off, and then spray it with the sealer. Let one side dry. Do the other side, guys, and it will come out looking like a rusty pie pan. If you don't want to do this step, you don't have to. You can leave it just the pie pan as is itself. But we're going to work with the rusty one that I have done here. Then what you're going to need, there's two different ways you can do this. You could either use wood beads, wood balls, whatever you want to use. I used two different sizes. One was a 3/4 inch. One's a 3/4 inch ball, and then I used one a little bit smaller, but I don't have any left. But I'll show you the different sizes. These are stuck together. So there's two different sizes here that I coated with paint. I will show you how I coated them with the paint. But you can use wood beads. They can have holes. They cannot have holes. It doesn't really matter. Because I'll show you the different ways you can glue them if they have holes. So it'll be totally up to you. So you need wooden balls or wooden beads. Two different sizes preferably if you want. Doesn't have to be. You can use all the same size. The bigger ones are better if using all the same size, because if you use the smaller ones, you're going to be gluing on a lot of little balls. So here's how I coated my little wood beads. Guys, easy way to do it. You take a baggie. You put your wood beads into a baggie, and then the paint that I'm using to get this blueberry look, don't look at these blueberries yet, but the paint I'm using to get this blueberry look, it's by Folk Art, and it's called Uniform Blue. Uniform Blue by Folk Art, and like I said, this will all be on my blog, guys. So Uniform Blue, that one's almost empty, so we're gonna open this one, which I didn't realize. Oh, there might be enough in here. Let's see if we can get enough out of this one. So then I'm just going to squirt a little bit of paint in my baggie. Put as many beads as you want in your baggie, and squirt a good amount of paint in there if you have a lot of beads. I don't have many beads, so I just squirt it. Squirt your paint right into your baggie on your beads. And then, guys, just roll them in your baggie of paint. But like I said, if you're using more beads, squirt more paint. I don't have many beads in here, so I'm not squirting too much paint in here. And then take a piece of foil or a paper plate or something. I'm just going to put them in this aluminum pan for right now. Coat them all up really good in your baggie. Just roll them around. Don't worry if the inside gets coated, that little hole if you're using ones with holes in them, because you're never going to see it. And I'm just going to open my baggie and see how well they're coated. Oh, they're pretty good. And then you want to just dump them out on something and take something and spread them out so they're not touching each other while they dry, okay? If you're using a lot of beads, you're going to have to go through and spread them all out, because if they dry together and you pull them apart, you're going to have a bare spot. So try to spread them out and let them dry. The other way we can do this, and I found this way after I originally made my pie, is you could get grapes. You need the dark purple grapes. This one has a couple light purples, but I didn't use them. It was a full strand of grapes. You're going to need 2 long full strands of grapes. These came from Michael's. They were $4.99 each. These came from Hobby Lobby. They were $4.99 each. I bought 2 packs. 2 packs will make 1 pie. And what you'll do is just pluck them right off of the vine they're on, the little bushel. And guys, you have a blueberry. You have a blueberry. Now, they're both going to cost you about the same, because you're going to need about 60 of the wood beads. And there's like 27 or 30 some in a pack for $4.99, depending on where you get them. Michael sells them. Hobby Lobby sells them. So you'll need 2 packs, which would be about $10. And you're going to need 2 packs of grapes if you choose to use the grapes. So either way, it's going to cost the same amount. But this way seems to be, I don't know, a little bit more realistic, because this is what we're going to do right now, is work with the grape one. But if you could see, my pie has the wood ones right now. This guy has the wooden ones, but guys, they still look really good. So if you can't find grapes, you can use wooden beads or wooden balls. If you want to use grapes and you could find grapes, use grapes, but make sure they're the dark purple, not that light purple. You don't want the light purple. You want like the dark purpley looking ones that look like blueberries. So either way is going to work, but I just wanted to show you both ways on how you can create a blueberry for your inside of your pie. If you did miss how I made blackberries, because you can make blackberries also, guys, out of styrofoam small tiny balls, you can go back to my Facebook page, The Silver Farmhouse, or my website, thesilverfarmhouse.com, and you will see Blackberry blog is on there, and there's a blackberry video on there. So what I did is you take your pan after it's dry, and you're going to need some kind of filler, newspaper, magazines. I'm using wrapping when I buy stuff in stores and they wrap it up for you and put it in a bag. It's just like a tissue paper, kind of like newspaper. So you're going to take a piece and you're kind of just going to bend it over so you have a piece to go in your pie pan. So you want a piece to go right into your pie pan. And then, my hot glue gun on? Yeah, okay. So then you're going to take some hot glue, just sprinkle it in the bottom of your pan. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be a ton, and glue it down, because your top pieces are going to hold all this in. So don't worry about it being perfect. So we have one nice little rounded piece in there. Now, I'm also going to add one around the edge, and what I did is I just took another piece of my paper, and I just kind of rolled it up. And now I'm going to add it around to the outside of my edge. I'm using a filler so you don't spend so much money on wood beads or grapes, whatever you choose to use. So this will fill it up, that you will not have to fill this whole pan up with faux fruit, okay? So bear with me here. And just add a little bit of hot glue and keep going around. Keep going around with your paper. I don't want to overfill it, but I don't want to underfill it either, because I don't want to use too many blueberries or wood balls or grapes, whatever you want to use. So now I'm just going to put another little piece in the center, because do you see how it still has like a deep indentation here? So I'm just going to take another piece and fold it up a little smaller. Use anything, guys. Newspaper, magazines. This wrapping, if you guys ever buy something that's glass or they wrap something in a bag for you, I always save it. So you can use this and just make yourself like you're making a pie, kind of, and give yourself a filler. Do you see the filler? It's okay if it's up a little bit. You can push it down a little bit. It's paper. It squishes. Make yourself a filler in your pan, Okay, so fill the bottom. Then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to take your uniform blue or whatever kind of blue color you want to use for your blueberries. Take it and then take a paintbrush, take your paint and paint your paper. And it's going to take a few minutes to paint it because you need to get in all the nooks and crannies and make all the white paper or whatever color paper you're using go away. So just give it a good coat of paint and paint your paper. Don't worry about hitting your pan, guys, because when you bake a pie, and you don't even really see it anyways once you put your top pieces on, when you bake a pie, you know the blueberry filling gets everywhere. It gets all over your pan. So don't worry about what you see, but you're going to want to paint your entire inside. I'm not going to sit here and paint all this with you guys because you get the hint, but you may have to go under your pieces of paper to get it all covered. But just paint it all up and cover the entire thing. Once you have the entire top filler covered with blue, then let that dry. Once it's dry, you could start gluing on your blueberries, depending on which ones you want to use. So I already have mine 3/4 of the way done for you guys because I was not going to sit here and glue all these on. While you guys watch me glue them on, it would be very boring. So we kind of, instead of fast forwarding, we just have one glued on. So these are the grapes, guys. They look a lot different, a lot more realistic. The wood beads do work. They will work, but the grapes really look realistic in this blueberry pie, okay? And for $4.99, you're getting a lot of blueberries. You get, well, 2 $4.99s, but a $4.99 does half. And then you'll need another set of grapes for the other half because I figured it out for you guys. But if you're using the balls with the little holes in them, what you would do is just add a little drop of glue to your blueberry and glue it so that your holes are on the sides, not up and down, okay? So glue, if you're using the wooden beads, glue them to the side, just add a drop of glue, and guys, just start putting them all over your pan. Fill up your whole pan with your blueberry wood balls there, and that's how you would glue the wooden ones on. For the grapes, little different. I did not glue each little individual grape on. What I did, guys, is I drizzled glue in here. You could probably do this for the wood beads too if you want. But I drizzled glue, and then, guys, I just started putting my blueberries, my faux blueberries that are really grapes, in where my glue is. Do they stick like super good? No, some of them were popping off on me, but your top layers are going to hold it in. So don't worry about that. And I just pluck them. You can pluck them right off the grapevine. Just pull them right off the grapevine and fill them in to do your blueberries. Fill your entire pie pan with your blueberries, and 2 things of grapes will be enough if they're the long grapes. Mine were long. Do you see how long they are? That's the top, this is the bottom. But they were very long, and these came from Hobby Lobby. So, and they were $4.99. They might go half off. They might do $4.99 at half off. It might be $4.99 and up. So you may be able to get these half off when the florals are half off in Hobby Lobby. I'm not sure about Michael's. I don't think Michael's does half off. So anywhere you can find fake fruit and find grapes, I like the grapes a lot. I like the grapes a lot. So just fill your entire pan. You're going to get lots of little glue strings probably. My glue gun likes to give glue strings. So I just picked off as many as I could. But guys, this looks so real. The grapes look real. This does look real because you don't see, it still looks real. It still looks real. So whatever you want to use, I'm really pulling towards the grapes, but you can always use, I loved this in the beginning when I first made it. And then I tried it with grapes. For your top crust, I am using muslin, okay? It's a fabric you can get at Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Joann's. It's an inexpensive fabric. It comes in different grades, different prices. I roughly buy like the $2.99 or the $1.99 one when I could find it. Go for the cheaper grade, the less expensive grade. Now, it is like a very creamy color when you buy this. I'm looking to see if I have one. Let me see if I have a piece right here for you guys. This is what muslin looks like before it's coffee stained. I like to coffee stain my muslin, okay? See the difference? There is a difference. I do have how I coffee stain fabric on my blog also, but what I use is 2 quarts of water, warm water, to 1 cup instant coffee. Stick your fabric in. You can break it up into batches because a yard is a lot of fabric. So you can cut it up into different batches. Put it in, soak it, get it all saturated with your coffee and water, wring it out. You could lay it in the sun for a little while. You can lay it on a clothesline. wherever you want to put it to dry. If you put it in the sun, it will darken it a little bit. So just watch, because it has a tendency to burn, give you really, really super dark burn marks. So if you are putting it outside, just be very careful and watch that the sun is not burning it. I like it when it's really burnt and dark looking, but not everybody does. So this one is not. This one is just dried. I just left it out to dry. You just hang them anywhere. Hang your pieces anywhere. You can hang them over your bushes. You can hang them wherever you want. So then after that, what you're going to need are strips of your coffee stained muslin. I'm using about an inch and a quarter strip. It's an inch and a quarter wide. Doesn't matter how long as it's as long as your pie plate, okay? That's the only stipulation, is they have to be as long as your pie plate, but it could be longer. It could be longer. Then what you're gonna wanna do is we're gonna start gluing strips, but I'm only gluing one end for right now, okay? So I'm gonna glue one strip, and I'm gonna leave a little overhang, just to be safe. I'm gonna leave a little overhang, and then pull it over and see where you need to cut. See where you need to cut your fabric. So I'm leaving a little overhang now, like I said. So there is one strip. I'm going to do 6 across. I'm going to glue. Leave a little space in between each of your strips. Guys, I've never made a pie like this before. I took a guess on how they do it. So just keep adding glue and gluing one side only. Glue one side only. So I'm gluing that one down. I'm pulling it over and I'm snipping. And we're going to do the same. We're going to go across. Maybe I'm doing 5. We'll see. It might end up being 5. I think it's going to be 5. An inch and a quarter is my strips. And I'm going to do 5 strips across. 5 strips across this way. Glue it down. Measure it out and then snip it. Okay, so now we need strips going the other way. So I'm just going to flip my pan. These ones we are not going to glue yet. We are just going to lay them down and we're going to cut them. So just remember, leave a little overhang on each side so you know you have enough fabric. So you know you have enough fabric to cover. So I'm going to do probably 5 more. And it's okay if they're not all exactly an inch and a quarter. Don't worry about it. I kind of just cut and ripped, to be honest with you. And then I measured it out for you guys. And look at that one. That one fits perfectly on the end. Okay, so now you see we have our strips. Now, keep your strips in the order they're in, because you have them cut measured, okay? So this one's, I'm just going to pull them off to the side the way they're going onto my pie plate. Pulling them off the way I want to put them on. Now, what you need to do is you're going to need to fold over every other strip. So I'm going to flip this one over. I'm going to flip this one over. And I'm going to flip this one over. Take your first strip that goes on your pie plate, just like this. And now I'm going to glue this one down. I'm gluing it down. And then I'm going to glue it right onto the other side. Gluing it onto the other side. Then flip your strips back over. Okay? Now you got to pull the opposite strips back up. So which would be 2, because we did 3 on the last one. And I'm going to do the same thing. You're going to glue over the top of your strips. Okay? Put your glue over. You're going over the top. Add some hot glue to the edge of your pie pan, right on the rim. Bring it over and glue the other side down. And you want to leave them spaced a little bit apart. So I'm just gluing them to the rim of my pie pan. Now you're going to pull these 2 strips back over. You're going to flip the 3 back over. And you're going to add your next strip of pie crust. I'm going to add some glue to each side. I'm going to lay my strip down and I'm going to glue it. And I'm just going to keep working right across, flipping these 2 over now, putting this one on. Remember to leave your little space in between each one. Let me get another glue stick. And then I'm going to flip these 2 over, and we are on our last strip. So I'm going to glue it to the end. I got to hold this one up. It doesn't want to stay up. So that one we got to hold up. And I'm going to glue this down. I need to pull this one out. This one's sneaking up on me. There it is. Okay, so I glued that one down. I'm losing a blueberry, but that's all right. This strip's going to keep it in. and then pull your other 2 strips back over. Now we can go and glue these last strips down that are on the end. So I'm just going to add some hot glue, and I'm just going to glue them down, guys. I'm going to glue them down right to the edge of the pan. Guys, these come out so realistic looking. So realistic looking. I'm going to pull this one over a little bit because I got this guy cockeyed a little bit. Now I'm gluing my last one down. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go and trim. I feel like this needs another piece right here, but it's okay. It's all good. You know what? I'm going to pull this one up a little bit. I feel like it needs to be over a little bit more. I didn't glue it over far enough. Bear with me. If you get a mess like that and you feel like you don't have one over far enough, just pluck it off and move it over. Pluck it off and move it over. There we go, that's better. Because I want them to have little spaces, like little squares in between each one. So they're all glued down. We have them all glued. Now you just need to go around with a pair of scissors and trim off your excess pieces that you have hanging over, guys. And you have your pie crust. You have your pie crust. If you want to get even more in depth with how to make it look like it's baked, we're going to work on that one next. On how to make it look like it's baked. Because my husband was telling me it needs to look like it's baked. So you know what I did, right? Okay, so we have our pie. Guys, will you look how amazing this is. But now our pie needs a crust around the edge. So take another strip, add some hot glue to your rim wherever you want to add it to. It doesn't matter where you start, but you're going to put it on your rim and you're going to kind of pucker them. You're going to give them a little pleat. So I just put a little glue, give it a little pleat, and I'm just going to go around the edge and pleat my pie, guys, to give it the edge crust on it. Just add a bead of glue on the rim, the edge of your pie rim, and then just go around and give it a few little pleats, guys. It needs a crust on the end. Needs a crust on the end. So you see, I'm just pleating it. I'm pleating it as I'm going. Pleating it, all you do is just pull it in a little bit, glue it down. Pull it in a little bit, glue it down, and you'll get some pleats. So I'm just going to keep adding my glue around the edge, and I'm going to go pleat. We're just going to pleat. It doesn't have to be exact pleats. Do you ever see homemade pies, guys? They're not perfect. They're not perfect, but they taste delicious. But they're not perfect, so I'm going to go around and pleat my pie crust. If your fabric is not long enough, just end it off and start a new one. End it off and start a new one. Don't worry if it's not long enough. And I'm just going to keep pleating until I hit the end. Just pull it up and make a little pleat. See, I'm going to have to add another piece of fabric. Pleat, pleat, pleat. And now I need to add another piece because I still have a little bit more to go. So I'm just going to take another strip of fabric and I'm just going to continue on. Continue on to where I started. This is so cute, guys. So cute. If you add some fragrance oils to it, like a blueberry fragrance oil, you can make it smell like a blueberry pie. You can make it smell like a blueberry pie. Okay, so here is our finished pie. Now, to create the baked look, there's our finished pie. Guys, how amazing is this pie? I'm so excited over this pie. So to create the baked look, Mod Podge, any kind of finish, matte, gloss, whatever you want to use, you need a Mod Podge and you need cinnamon, guys. And what you're going to do is you're going to open your Mod Podge, and we're going to see if I have a paintbrush here. And I do not. So let me grab a paintbrush. I only have one paintbrush. So just I'm using a thicker paintbrush, kind of the size of my strips. It makes it go a lot quicker. So then what you got to do, I'm just going to use this too. Put a little bit of cinnamon in a bowl or a dish, or I don't have anything up here right now, so I'm going to put it in this pie pan. A little bit of cinnamon in your pie pan or whatever you're going to put it in. Put it in a bowl or a dish. Take your brush, dip it into your Mod Podge, dip it into your cinnamon, and then, guys, just brush it onto your pie. Just brush it onto your pie. Mod Podge, dip it into your cinnamon, and brush away. And don't be scared of using, the more you use, the darker it's going to get. I used a lot of cinnamon on this one. A lot of cinnamon on this one So then just go and do all of your strips and your little crust on the edge with Mod Podge and cinnamon, guys, and it will turn out with a dark baked look once it's dry. Don't get nervous, because when it's wet, it doesn't look that dark. But believe me, it gets dark once it's dry. So you want to do all of your strips. Just keep adding Mod Podge and cinnamon to your brush and brushing all of your strips. That's one thing I forgot was my plate, my bowl, my plate, whatever I was going to put my cinnamon in, but I'll wash this out when I'm done. It'll wash right out as long as it's still wet after I'm done. So just continue to do all of your strips, every single strip and all your crust around the edge. And guys, it will come out like this when it's dry. It will look like this when it's dry. And guys, this is amazing. Put it on a cake riser. You could put it on a cake riser as a display. This one is not a very good cake riser because it sinks in, but you could put it in a cake riser and display it in your kitchen or on your coffee bar or wherever you'd like to put it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you know anybody who might like to make one of these, feel free to spread the love of the Silver Farmhouse. Thanks, guys.